Hello, my name is Don and welcome to episode 38 of my Football Manager Let's Play with Blackburn Rovers. Today we have an FA Cup game against Everton. Before we do though, we have the transfer window to review, so we'll get straight into that. So I'll just scroll down, there's a lot to go through. On the outs, David Myler's away, we knew that. Jason Cummins is away, 5.5 million to Huddersfield. I can't remember how this deal was broken up, it was a while ago since I recorded. Will Keane away to Norwich for 180k. Simone Emmanuel away for 150k to Walsall. A little bit disappointing with this deal, but you know, the guy was there or thereabouts, and he was on very low wages, but I had to clear something up, and even just clearing a little bit off for a guy who's maybe not quite there seemed a decent deal, bringing 150k in the process. Marcus Schwabe, the guy we brought in because he was a moral professional for tutoring, is away for 75k. Rankin Costello, disappointed again that he's away. He just didn't develop the way I hoped he would. He's away to Celtic for 550k. Also joined by John Buckley, who's away to Rangers for 375k. Francesco Di Tascio, pronounced that completely wrong, Alara brought in as a sort of backup role for a couple of positions a couple of seasons ago, is away for 100k to an Italian team who's I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Antonio Pimienta, the regen that we got, centre back, he's away to Southend on loan. Charlie Adams away to St Johnstone on loan. They're not paying any of his wages, but they're paying quite a bit on per month, so thought it was a worthwhile deal. Joe Hilton on loan, I'm just trying to get rid of him, to be honest. Theo Pellinard wanted to leave, I didn't really want to sell him, but he's away to Walsall for 230k, rising to 300k with a 20% sell-on fee as well. Dana Horgan, Petrie and Knutton all out on loan to MK Dons, Spartan and Dundee respectively. And Hatim Ben Arfa, a player tried so desperately to sell during this window, is away to Bromby for 11k per month and 40% of his wages if I remember correctly. They've also got a deal in place to sign him if they wish. I think it was 375k. It's nowhere near what he's worth, but I was just trying to sell him and I thought, why not? It was originally after 10 games, but I've not got the Danish League loaded, so the fact that he rejected the contract benefits us more. On the incomings, we've got Ollie Alternate, I'm going to call him Ollie Alt. Let's just call him Ollie Alt because that's going to be so much easier and it sounds better. So we've got Ollie Alt, and he comes from Molde in Norway, worth 1.1 million, signed for free. Decent deal. He's currently a right winger, but he can tackle, so I'm going to try and develop him into a right wing back. Fairly professional, fairly confident we can do that. Hopefully he can develop the way we want him to. Had a lot of loan offers for him as well, was never going to accept any of them, but hopefully he can come in. He's had a decent start to his career at the club, we'll go through that in a minute. He played 2 games already. Ben Gibson comes in from Southampton for 1.1 million, rising to 2.9, already worth 6 million. Good bit of business this. Solidifies that defence. We're struggling defensively. If any of our first 3 centre backs were out injured, we're having to bring in Petrie or Primeta, who were not ready for this level by any stretch of the imagination. He comes in, he's going to offer a very, very good option for that role. Already worth double what we've paid, if not more. And good personality for tutoring, long term as well. Very, very delighted to get this deal done. He was on the transfer list, it was a very, very good deal. Tried forcing us through, I tried multiple times, there was issues with the wages. I cleared up the wages eventually and got it in. Riyad Boudebouz comes in. This was part of the deal. This was something I was trying to do, is I was trying to sell on Ben Arfa, Liam Henderson and Ali Crawford. I was trying to sell 2 of those free. Didn't sell any of them, as you've seen from the outs. But Riyad Boudebouz was coming in as a sort of replacement for the 2 of them. 500k driving in 1.5 million, already valued at 2 million, so good bit of business again. Very, very good all round. Look at all those light blues. Good at corners, good at crossing, dribbling, first touch, free kicks, passing, penalties, technique, decent agility, decent mentals, not sensational, not the best personality, but again can work on it. Enzo Crivelli comes in on loan. He was a striker. I needed a striker desperately, and this was getting to the point where again the wages were going up and they weren't letting me offer anything, so I put all my transfer budget apart from a little bit to try and edge another couple of deals into the wages. So while we're looking at the loan market specifically at this point, he had to come out, and he was really the only option for strikers. I tried for I think 2 or 3 more. Ideally I wanted to bring in 2 strikers on loan. Didn't quite work out. Patrick Bamford was one of them. There was going to be a deal on that, but he turned us down for Stoke. And we bring in Nuno Goncalves. not costing the club a penny. He's not any better really than the two lads that went out on loan, but he's not costing us any wages, and that's what I liked. Of the three lads that went out on loan, Horgan, Petrie and Kunutin, there's no wages if they play. They pay full wages if they don't play, and I think there might be, Primeta's in the same deal as well, where they pay money if they don't play. So it's basically, I'm trying to punish teams for not playing these players because I really want them to develop and come back into the first team. Results wise, since that Liverpool game, so we played Hull, we drew 0-0, didn't lose. We played Everton, drew 2-2. Really unlucky here. An 87th minute winner from Romelu Lukaku. Enzo Crivelli scoring on his debut, an own goal. For me it was a Crivelli goal, but the game gives it as an own goal. It's fine, and Schneiderlin also scored. And then we beat Hull 1-0 in the replay, which means that we've got this game today. That was Matthew Knox scoring that goal. It was an absolute beauty as well. Then we played West Ham. I gave Knox a start because of how he played. Well, he played off the bench against Hull. We also had 3 games in 6 days, so it kind of made sense to rotate a little bit. We went 1-0 down, Knox equalised, went 2-1 up through a penalty from Budaboos. Ayew equalised, then Joshua put us ahead before Ayew scored twice for his hat-trick, and Caleri scored as well in that time for a 5-2 defeat. It was a little bit disappointing we lost this game. It was very much like the Liverpool game where we played really well, really good football, just couldn't defend. We then drew 1-1 with Bournemouth. Again, I feel we're unlucky on this one. This goal that they scored, I'm certain he was about 5 yards offside. Ollie Alt got his first goal for the club. Lewis Cook got sent off, then he equalised through what, as I just said, was for me an offside goal through Callum Wilson, and then Digbu got sent off in the 92nd minute. Disappointing not to get 3 points in this game. And then we played Watford, and the form from the previous couple of games going forward continued. This time we found the back of the net a few times. Ali Crawford with a penalty and another goal, and Paul McDonald also back on the score sheet. He is now playing in the advanced forward role because we couldn't get any other strikers, which was a bit of a nightmare. It's fine, we're now playing with a target man again, so that hopefully balances itself out. I feel the team is more balanced with a target man over a complete forward. So that leaves us with today's game against Everton. I've already selected the team, so we'll go into that and we'll just get straight in. Going forward, summer window, we need a striker. There's no doubt in my mind we need strikers. Only place I'm going to focus. We need maybe a left back as well because we've not got any backup to Charlie Taylor now. With Pellenard going, we need a left back and strikers. Lots and lots of strikers that are cut out for this level. Even the ones that I was looking at, really, all the ones that were available on the transfer list or on the loan list were all good championship strikers. But I thought even if it just increases our squad depth for this season, it's worthwhile doing. Couldn't get any of the deals over the line. I think there was one that was Premiership quality, but as soon as we went into talks, the board were just like, you can offer £170 a week. He wasn't interested in a loan deal, so we couldn't get that done. Going forward, hopefully we can find something that will work out striker wise, because that has been by far our biggest weakness this season. As much as Paul McDonald's came in and done well, and I'm glad for that, he's not at the level that we need for the Premiership yet. He's probably not far off, but he needs another 6 months at least. He might be there next season, but if we've got more than one Premiership striker, it's not an issue. That's what you want, really. Maybe bring in a centre back. Jay Fulton's been very good this season. So has Scott Wharton and Digbu. Ben Gibson's obviously came in, but I feel it's maybe time to. These are all right now Championship defenders, so it might be worthwhile just bringing in a seasoned Premiership defender that's ready-made. While trying to develop these guys in the background. Jay Fulton I don't think will really improve much anymore, so as much as I really like the guy and he puts in performances every single game, might be him that's replaced, while looking to have someone who can play the other 2 roles and move Scott Wharton into the ball playing defender role while he develops, because he can do that. Ben Gibson can also play there. Have we just got a penalty, or is it a free kick? Looks like it's a penalty. Budaboo steps up, but just see that he's got really good penalty taking. He's not got the best composure though, so let's see what he can do. Can he put us in front inside 7 minutes? Riyad Budaboos, get in. 1-0 to Blackburn after 7 minutes of play. Budaboo scores a second goal. Both of them have been penalties, but what a player he's hopefully going to turn out for us, because I think this was a really good deal. As much as he's a much more senior player than the players that I tend to like to sign, this window was all about making sure we got players in that could keep us in the Premiership. I know this is an FA Cup game. I would usually rotate for the FA Cup games, but I've never really taken any of the cup seriously in the Blackburn save, and it'd be nice to have one cup run at some point. So even if we can just go another round or something or whatever, then hopefully that would be good. Just a mix up of what I can give you as content, because one of the things that I liked about the Rangers series is there was cup finals, there was drama. Remember that Scottish Cup final might even be the last ever episode of the Rangers series where we lost the cup final to a 121st minute goal. Probably a deserved defeat, to be fair. I think Hibs were the better team in that game, but the drama that was there, it was the only cup we didn't win in that, and right until the last episode in the 120th minute we had a chance of doing it. So it was just, I want to have that same sort of suspense in the Blackburn save. We've had the league win in the Championship, but before that it was pretty drab. Just, not drab, but here's a game, here's a game, here's a game. Finish my table, here's a game, here's a game, finish my table. And then we had our Championship season run. Now we've got a Premiership season run. This season's going to be about, can we avoid relegation? And hopefully we can do that. I think we're in good shape. I should have shown you the league table, but I forgot to do that. I'll show you after this game. Hopefully it'll be up to date. Anyway, but I just feel like we haven't had those big hype matches that we had in the Rangers series, because we've not had any cup games. We've not had it. Obviously we've got no European football either, so we've missed out on those games. So what I'm hoping is, if we can get a cup run, we can get at least some suspense back, while particularly in these next couple of years where it's probably going to be avoid relegation, mid-table, before we're then fighting for Europe again, while we sort of build up. Because as much as I'm trying to bring on a lot of these youngsters, which is probably going to slow our growth slightly in the short term for bigger growth in the long term. And I hope you guys understand that. Is that Zidane they've got in goal? Let me just have a look. Home. I'll show you the league table actually while I'm here. So there's the league table. We're in 16th on 25 points, 4 points ahead of the drop zone going into this game. But what I wanted to look at was Everton. Now I know Zidane does have a son who is a goalkeeper, but I thought he went by his mother's name. So Enzo Zidane and Zinedine Zidane. It's what is Zidane's son. I'm just going to scout both the Zidanes. Just why not? Just why not? Maybe it'd be nice to sign the son of a legend. I genuinely thought they went both by their mother's name, but maybe I am wrong. For whatever reason. So we're now scouting both of them just for curiosity's sake more than anything, and if either of them are any good we might sign them. Paul McDonnell. Back to Digbu, the man who used all our transfer budget. Crivelli, he's got a decent touch on him to get away from the defence, and he's skied it. I've also sent another fail-in from the West Ham game. It didn't involve in a goal, which means I'm not going to show you because it'll take an age for me to find. Into GWFM's fails of the week. Go and check that out. It's one of my favourite series on YouTube right now. It was from an offline game, so you won't get to see it in this. Thought that was in the back of the net, but young Zidane plucks a save out the top drawer there. Boudibou's with the corner, and Zidane clutches it into his hands. We also had offers for David Rea during the transfer window. He got a bit upset because I'd rejected them. Came to me and he said, "What kind of offer would you accept?" I'm like, "I'm not selling you for less than." So I think I ended up saying 7.5 million was as low as I was going, and he's like, "That's unrealistic." And I was like, "Well, if you find that's unrealistic, that's tough. I can't replace you for less than that." And then he's like, "Well, I want a new contract then." And at that point, it was the 150 a week I was allowed to offer. So I just explained to him we couldn't afford it, even if we wanted to. Which he then accepted, and it's not correlated any issues with his performances. Certainly, if you go back a couple of episodes of the Man City game where it was absolutely shocking, kept his rating up though. Performances actually from him have improved drastically. I don't know if that's maybe just a fix for the goalkeepers, if it was unlucky with some bugs, or if it was just some animation issues. Either way, we've got that going for us now. He's playing okay going into this game anyway, touch wood. And hopefully he will continue that form and not kick the toys out of the pram. But the same time, it's nice that we're starting to see some offers coming in for our players from clubs in big leagues. Budaboos, Casarini, Ivan, Budaboos, Casarini again, Ivan, Paul McDonald. It's just a way out for a corner kick there, deflected. I didn't see the deflection. I thought it was a goal kick. I thought it was a poor effort. Casarini's in this game just to sort of rest Joshua. I do much prefer Joshua, but he tires quicker than other players, so last couple of games I've just gave him off the bench performances, and Casarini seems to do better from the start rather than off the bench, so this is the way that I've had to sort of do it based on what I've learning of the players on their form. Had some issues with other players we've had on loan, such as the goalkeeper. I think it was Conte. West Ham came and said, "You're not playing him," and I said, "Well, I told you at the start of the season when I loaned him I wasn't going to play him because he was never going to be taken out David Raya. I should have gave him some cup games though, like I did have previously, but as I said, I've been trying to take the cups just a little bit more seriously. I did rest a lot of players against Hull because underestimated them maybe, but at the same time it was sort of in a fixture congested period, excuse my voice going there, so I felt I had to rest players, and it was nice to see lads like Knutton getting game time. Well, that's a great tackle. I thought that could have been another penalty there, but it turned out to be an absolutely great tackle from Kajir. Abraham, Schneiderlin, Digbu steps in well, Budaboos over the top for Paul McDonald. He's got a bit of space, he's also got pace, and that's in the back of the net. Paul McDonald back in amongst the goals again. He scored in the last game, he scored in this game. Hunt scored for a few games before that, but he's now back into the goal scoring charts, and he's settling in well into this advanced forward role now compared to the complete forward role that he played for the first half of the season. He's much more natural in this position compared to the complete forward role, but he did play very, very well in that complete forward role, and I was actually very much considering adopting it into the system. However, I felt that with the target man, we're a much more balanced team, and it works better in my opinion. Crivelli, and as well as the fact that most of the strikers we were going to be able to sign during this window were all target men, so it also brings in the option to play Lee Gregory again should we need to. So we're 2-0 up here against Everton at home in the FA Cup. This will be the furthest cup, well, the longest cup run we have had should we progress here in this series. Charlie Taylor plays it out wide to Pied. Gibbs clears it. Kieran Gibbs, a former Arsenal player, of course. They just signed Roberto Firmino in the biggest deal of the transfer window from Liverpool. The other big deal involving two Premiership clubs was Van Dijk went to Manchester United from Southampton. There was no other sort of major deals. I think a boy came in from Napoli to Arsenal as well, so they've spent quite big, but that was sort of it. That was sort of flagged up anyway. Charlie Taylor picks up here, tries to cross it, but it's blocked well. Don't think it was ever going to get in the box, to be fair, but still good bit of defensive work from the Everton player. Casarini, Crivelli even, don't know why I'm calling him Casarini. Barkley plays it back to Zidane in the Everton net. It's played forward well. Barkley heads on. Abraham, oh, he's done Digbu. Good save from David Raya. That's why we liked him all the way through the Championship season. He's maybe had a bit of a mess season this season, but that is the reason why I like him. That's the reason why I wasn't going to sell him for any less than 7 million. That is the form that I want to see from David Raya once again. Until Chewbacca develops, and I don't want to see that kind of form from Chewbacca. Maybe going to make a sub in a minute. Budaboos, Casarini, Ivan all tired, and I can only bring off 2 of them because of my sub options. In fact, have we even got Joshua on the bench? We do. I've ended up with Joshua and Jack Evans on the bench, which is a bit of a pain because they're both ball-winning midfielders rather than going forward types. David Raya again standing up tall to Ross Barkley. That's partly because I sold Charlie Adam. Well, loaned him out. He wasn't going to get a game unless of injury, so I'll need to get Alan Simpson back onto the bench. I completely forgot I took him off. And we're also going to bring on Ali Crawford. He scored a double off the bench the last time of that was in the box-to-box midfielder role, but let's bring him on, give him some game time, see what he can do. Gibbs whips it in. Look, Abraham, very unorthodox header from Tammy Abraham, but it's in the back of the net nonetheless. What we're going to do though is tactics, overview, switch this to uncomplete forward. I've been using complete forward, I thought I was using a target man. Going to bring on Matthew Knox and swap Knox and McDonald around. Just go for the complete forward role. If Crivelli has been playing that complete forward role and it's been working well, I'm going to keep it. I genuinely thought I'd change the target man. Ali Crawford, it's a decent effort from the youngster. Well, keep calling him young. Feels young in my head. He's one of those players that's been touted as a good young player for the future in Scotland for about ever. So I still feel like he's a young player. He's no longer a young player, but it was a good touch here and a good strike there. Keeper does get a touch to it, but it's in the back of the net. Ali Crawford scores his third in 2 games, both off the bench. And a celebration to boot that reminds me a bit, I think that one's designed on Robbie Keane. So 3-1 up here, we should be now comfortably progressing to the next round. Scott Wharton heads on here, full in, plays it out to Digbu, Joshua lining up for strikes here, the 2 Frenchmen. Flicked on by the Englishman, Scott Wharton, into Jay Fulton, played it down for Digbu, shot, deflected back to Joshua, who then shot and put it wide. None of those 4 people are really guys you expect to be playing it around in the box from a corner. It's the only time you're ever going to see that. But it was nice to see that little bit of link up there between our defensive minded players in an attacking sense. Knox does really well to head down to Paul McDonald. His touch takes him away from goal a little bit. Strike at Zidane, doesn't really create anything. And it's out for a throw in. Jeremy Pide, good to see him back in the team. It's his 2nd or 3rd game back now. He's still not fully match fit, but we're getting there with him. It's just nice to see him back playing. And I don't feel that we're that weak on the right hand side now. We've got Ollie Ill, who is a decent option for that right wing back role. He's got some good stats, maybe not quite as good at tackling as I'd like, but certainly going forward he's really good, and that's why I like him. That encouraged me to then loan Dara Horgan out, let him go get some game time. I think we've got now 3 right backs between the age of 16 and 20 who all have some hope that can develop really well. Ian Vincent's the youngest of those, and because of his personality he's the one I have the least hope in, and I can't tutor him because he refuses tutoring from everyone and their mother, so that's the issue. So I've got the least hope for him, but I think if they all develop to their potential, we could have 3 really good right wing backs coming through in future. Charlie Taylor to David Ivan, Digbu back to David Rea now. We're just sort of staying out the game here. This should be the match ending highlight. Another good result. First time I think we've beat Everton in this series, and our furthest FA Cup run will commence from it. I think we made this stage before getting knocked out with Everton last year, but still nice to finally have a cup run where we've won more than 1 game. So our cup record in this series has been absolutely appalling, highlighted by getting knocked out by a team 2 or 3 divisions below us this season in the League Cup. So it's nice to finally have that, and hopefully that adds a bit of extra excitement for you guys. Ivan, Joshua, Jay Fulton, full time here at Ewood Park. My voice is going, I do apologise. It's a 3-1 win. Absolutely sensational stuff. We were the better team throughout the game. They did have chances though, but we won the game. I will leave it here though, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked, a like and subscribe is always appreciated, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.